as that group was, they noticed a small piece called Losing Chase that was way under the radar.
A video showing Dame Helen Mirren attacking Meghan Markle at the Golden Globes went viral, hitting 50 million views in just 2 days. Social media shared it non-stop, and commentary channels analyzed every second. But the truth is even stranger than the clip. How did a total lie spread so quickly? And why did millions believe it was real? Join us as we find out what Dame Helen actually said about Meghan at the Golden Globes. The public firestorm. The video looked real from the first second. Helen Mirren stood at a podium with the Golden Globes logo behind her. She wore the same baby pink Stella McCartney gown she had worn at the actual ceremony. The lighting matched a live broadcast. The sound was clear. The camera angles matched the awards coverage people see every year. In the video, Mirren appeared to stop mid-speech. She then seemed to speak about Meghan Markle. The voice criticized Meghan for leaving royal duties. It questioned her move to California. It framed her actions as personal ambition rather than necessity. The language sounded calm and formal. Nothing felt exaggerated. Nothing sounded like a joke. The voice was generated. The words were written after the ceremony. The tone was designed to match Mirren's public image, and the phrasing avoided extremes. Each line sounded measured enough to seem believable. The video used reaction shots to reinforce the message. Meryl Streep appeared to nod. Oprah Winfrey appeared serious and unsmiling. Tom Hanks appeared to laugh. Kate Blanchett appeared amused. These clips came from different moments during the ceremony. They were cut together to look like a shared reaction. Commentary channels moved quickly. Within hours, long videos appeared on YouTube.
And as I walked up, I noticed you're greeting the president of the film festival at the top of the stairs.
Hosts paused frames. They replayed moments. They treated the clip as confirmed footage. None had access to original broadcast feeds. None cited official sources. Their confidence made the claim feel verified. Specific phrases drove the conversation. One term suggested that Meghan was being spoken to like a child. Another phrase implied she turned personal struggle into performance. A short line about acting was framed as a moral divide between real performers and public figures who use private life for attention. Each phrase was analyzed as an intentional judgment. The video spread at the same time across platforms. It appeared on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and X. Each platform treated it as new content. Algorithms pushed it separately. Early sharing from coordinated accounts increased visibility. The clip reached recommendation feeds before any checks happened. The numbers climbed fast. The first hour passed with 500,000 views. 6 hours passed. 5 million. 1 full day passed. 25 million. 2 days passed. 50 million. Screenshots and remixes multiplied faster than original uploads. No major outlet reported the incident. Entertainment publications that cover every awards show moment published nothing. Trade reporters who live tweet ceremonies stayed silent. Broadcast networks issued no statements.
And I think a lot of that gets lost in what can be super dehumanizing when you look at the clickbait culture. And
official Golden Globes accounts posted nothing about the controversy. The moment never occurred. Yet the absence of coverage was interpreted not as proof of fabrication, but as evidence of media suppression, a conspiracy to protect Meghan from legitimate criticism. The ceremony footage was complete and archived. Mirren's real speech followed the program schedule. She thanked contributors. She acknowledged the nominees. She announced the winner. She left the stage. No deviation existed in any broadcast version. Fact checks appeared later. Reuters published one. The Guardian published one. Their articles showed full transcripts, compared timestamps, and explained the edits. These reports reached a fraction of the audience, not because they were hidden, but because they violated the emotional logic that made the hoax appealing in the first place. Comment sections reacted harshly. Many dismissed corrections as media protection for elite figures who deserved criticism. Others claimed the video reflected emotional truth, even if the words were technically false.
In the theatre, when we were like in our early 20s, so we knew each other really, really well. Celia I've worked with before.
Arguing that someone should have said those things, which made the fabrication symbolically valid. Some said the message mattered more than accuracy, that Mirren's actual words were less important than what the video represented. The idea stuck, even as proof spread, because belief had already hardened into a narrative. People struggled to accept they had been misled. Sharing the video felt intentional. Undoing that felt embarrassing. Many avoided admitting error. They searched for related material instead. On TikTok, creators reused old interviews. They placed the fake audio over Mirren clips from years earlier. They treated unrelated comments as confirmation. Viewers accepted the layering as evidence. On X, threads linked past praise of royal discipline to supposed criticism of Meghan. Dates were ignored. Context was removed. Assumptions replaced verification. The editing hid small flaws. The mouth movement did not always match the sound. Facial tension looked slightly off. These signs vanished on phones. Most viewers watched once. Few replayed closely. By the time the fabrication was clear, the story had settled. Many users claimed they remembered seeing it live.
Because it feels really inclusive and there's representation and it's just like a sweet love story.
Others recalled audience reactions that never happened. The false moment became a memory. The clip did more than mislead. It filled a gap. Meghan's Hollywood standing had already changed. Projects had slowed. Coverage had thinned. Defenders had gone quiet. The video gave that silence a story. The fake confrontation felt like confirmation. It offered a clear reason for shifts people sensed but could not place. That made it spread faster than an explanation ever could. Mirren never said a word about Meghan that night. The video said everything for her. And once people accepted that version, the real question changed. The fabrication spread unchecked, but Mirren's actual relationship with Meghan tells a completely different story, one that makes the hoax even more calculated and deliberate. The truth. Dame Helen Mirren received the Cecil B. DeMille Award at the Golden Globe celebration on January 6, 2026, at the Beverly Hilton. Harrison Ford presented the award, calling her one of the greatest actresses of all time. Mirren took the stage, thanked the Golden Globes for her earlier awards, made a few jokes, described the DeMille Award as a recognition of a full life, and left the stage. Meghan Markle was never mentioned. Not once. The viral video that claimed Mirren attacked Meghan relied entirely on her credibility. It inverted everything she had actually said about the Duchess.
I think you feel really confident that it was divinely ordered. Maybe all of this, our friendship, you becoming our...
In February 2020, Mirren told Variety that Meghan was a fantastic addition to the royal family. She said Meghan was charming, gracious, and sweet-natured. She praised Meghan and Harry for stepping back from royal duties and described it as the right decision for their family. Mirren even joked that once the tabloids finished with Meghan, she might become their next target. This was repeated. Public support, not vague celebrity diplomacy. Mirren's authority on British royalty comes from her career, particularly her 2006 Oscar-winning role as Queen Elizabeth II in The Queen. That performance humanized the monarch during a turbulent period after Princess Diana's death. She also won a Tony for The Audience, portraying the Queen in weekly meetings with prime ministers. Mirren's portrayals always show royalty as constrained and burdened, never glamorous. Her characters endure challenges, maintain dignity, and meet institutional expectations without dramatizing personal struggles.
No, because I love doing my own stunt driving, you know, and I've done a little bit. I did drive my own Land Rover as the Queen.
Or monetizing hardship. Her reputation for principled, measured judgment made the hoax believable. Viewers assumed that if someone as balanced as Mirren were criticizing Meghan, it must be true. The fake video replaced real statements of support with fabricated contempt. Clips of Mirren discussing royalty and celebrity from different years were edited with unrelated audience reactions to create the illusion of a live response. The technical execution was precise. Voice cloning technology in 2026 could generate near-perfect speech from just 3 minutes of audio, allowing creators to train a model on Mirren interviews, script the attack lines, and produce audio matching her tone, cadence, and accent. Lip sync software then overlaid the fabricated audio onto existing footage. adjusting mouth movements frame by frame to eliminate visual discrepancies. The process introduced subtle artifacts, slight mismatches in jaw tension, unnatural transitions between phonemes, and micro delays in lip closure. But these flaws remained invisible at normal playback speed on mobile devices, where most viewers consumed the content once without replaying or scrutinizing details. The video didn't need to fool forensic experts. It only needed to fool scrolling audiences making split-second judgments about what felt real.
You have to give away at least 6 months of your life to doing any one play.
The video spread quickly because the economic incentives were overwhelming. Platform monetization systems reward engagement over accuracy, and celebrity conflict content consistently outperforms factual reporting. One anonymous creator behind the Meghan video operated a network of accounts specializing in fabricated confrontations. That single video reportedly earned $200,000 in the first week from a combination of ad revenue, affiliate partnerships, and premium subscriptions. Patreon subscribers jumped from 400 to 12,000 within days, each paying $5 monthly, an additional $60,000 in recurring revenue. The financial upside dwarfed any potential consequences, which remained theoretical at best. No platform had suspended the accounts, no advertiser had pulled funding, and no legal action had been threatened. The message was clear.
And I was very insecure, and I was very ambitious, and I wanted to be an actress, I wanted to be a great actress, and I never knew.
Fabrication pays, and it pays immediately. Platform detection failed. YouTube's Content ID only flags copyright violations, not original fabrications. TikTok's moderation prioritizes harmful content, like violence or self-harm. X's community notes relies on users, which fails when millions believe a hoax. Coordinated uploads across platforms amplified reach. Multiple accounts shared the video within the first hour, triggering early engagement signals that algorithms interpreted as trending. This engagement seeding costs between $500 and $2,000, but can return millions of views. The barrier to creating content like this has collapsed. YouTube tutorials teach voice cloning, video manipulation, and algorithm exploitation. Anyone with moderate technical skill and a few $100s can produce a believable fabrication and profit from it. By the time fact-checkers responded with debunks, creators had already earned revenue, algorithms had moved on to newer content, and millions of viewers had emotionally absorbed the lie as confirmed truth. The system is designed to reward speed and emotion, not verification, which means corrections arrive too late to matter and reach too few people to shift consensus. The hoax succeeded because Meghan's credibility made the fabrication feel authoritative.
You know, it's a long process to get there, so I gave about 10 years of my career.
Her reputation carried weight that anonymous claims could never achieve. When a fake video puts words in the mouth of someone who won the Oscar for playing the Queen, audiences don't just see an opinion, they see institutional judgment. The video didn't need to be perfect. It only needed to be associated with her name. The creators understood this instinctively. They didn't fabricate a random celebrity attack. They chose Meghan specifically because her history with the royal family through the Queen made her seem like the perfect person to deliver such criticism. The casting was strategic. An actress known for restraint and dignity, appearing to break character, felt like a watershed moment. That calculated choice made fact-checking almost irrelevant.
You know, obviously you don't have the live experience, except you do, and apparently people applaud at the end as if it's in a...
Even after Reuters and The Guardian published debunks, many viewers rationalized that Meghan must have said something similar at some point, or that she privately agreed with the sentiment. The fabrication created permission for people to believe what they already suspected. The Meghan video combined technical precision, earned authority, and existing perceptions. It gave millions a clear narrative for diffuse reality. Hollywood had withdrawn, projects underperformed, and no one defended Meghan. By the time fact checks appeared, the fabricated confrontation had already taken hold. Millions believed it had happened, and many still refer to it as a real event. Helen Mirren never said a word about Meghan at the Golden Globes. The hoax exploited her credibility, public record, and measured persona. Real statements of support were replaced with manufactured criticism. The video illustrates how technology, incentives, and human perception combine to turn a total fabrication into a widely accepted truth.
Certainly after the pandemic and everything else, we crave that. We crave being able to go high.
The hoax weaponized Mirren's credibility against Meghan, but its success depended on something deeper than technical skill. It required an audience already primed to believe Hollywood had turned away, even without proof. Why it worked. Helen Mirren never spoke against Meghan Markle, but the numbers around Meghan's Hollywood career were already moving in the opposite direction. In September 2020, Archewell Productions signed a 5-year deal with Netflix. The trade outlets estimated at $100 million, even though Archewell had no finished projects at the time.
40 friends to donate 40 minutes of their time to help mentor a woman who's mobilizing back into the workforce.
And Meghan had not taken an acting role since leaving Suits in 2018. The agreement was framed as a major creative partnership, but for nearly 2 years, it produced no public output. Spotify followed a similar pattern. In December 2020, the company announced an exclusive multi-year deal with Archewell Audio, reportedly worth between $15 and $25 million, yet no release plan appeared, and no episodes were delivered for almost 2 years. The first and only podcast series, Archetypes, finally launched in August 2022, ran for 12 episodes, and ended without renewal. In June 2023, Spotify confirmed the partnership was over, and soon after, senior executive Bill Simmons publicly criticized the deal on his own podcast, an unusually blunt move that suggested the relationship had failed beyond quiet repair. Netflix content arrived, but momentum never followed. The 6-part docuseries Harry and Meghan debuted in December 2022 and recorded about 81.5 million viewing hours in its first week, placing it in the platform's global top 10 and generating headlines about success. Trade reporting later showed that most viewers watched once, engagement dropped quickly, and long-term performance lagged behind comparable, unscripted series that typically trigger renewals or spin-offs. Netflix did not announce follow-up projects tied to the series. In January 2025, Netflix released With Love, Meghan, a lifestyle series focused on cooking, hosting, and home aesthetics that was meant to reposition her image away from conflict and toward aspiration. The show debuted at number 2 in the United States with 5.89 million views in its first 4 days, then slid to number 7 the following week and dropped out of the top 10 entirely by week 3. Netflix did not announce a renewal or expansion, which usually signals that a series failed to meet internal performance benchmarks. During this same period, Meghan did not pursue scripted acting roles, did not join outside productions as a producer, and did not appear at Cannes, Sundance, or Toronto in a professional capacity. All released content remained self-produced and centered on Sussex-branded projects, with no additional first-look deals, no competitive bidding, and no visible integration into the broader Hollywood ecosystem. Expansion normally follows successful platform deals, but here it never arrived. The speaking circuit reflected the same cooling pattern. In 2022 and 2023, Meghan accepted paid appearances through the Harry Walker Agency, with reported fees between $200,000 and $500,000 per event, positioning her alongside high-profile political and cultural figures. By late 2024, confirmed bookings declined sharply, not through public cancellations but through a quiet reduction in demand, which is how the industry usually signals diminishing value. This kind of withdrawal rarely looks dramatic, because Hollywood does not turn on people loudly. Support fades through thousands of small, uncoordinated decisions made by studios, agents, editors, and executives who stop returning calls, stop assigning coverage, and stop attaching their names to projects without issuing statements or explanations. The shift becomes visible only when patterns repeat across multiple sectors at once. The erosion showed clearly in the behavior of former allies. After the March 2021 Oprah interview, public support from celebrities arrived quickly and loudly, framing Meghan's treatment as a moral issue rather than a business one. Jamila Jamil defended her repeatedly on social media and later appeared on Archetypes, describing years of advocacy on Meghan's behalf. By June 2025, when asked about their relationship, Jamil publicly clarified that they were not close and described their worlds as entirely separate, creating distance without hostility or accusation. Tyler Perry's role showed the same pattern on a larger scale. In March 2020, when Harry and Meghan lost royal security and left Canada during COVID lockdowns, Perry provided his Los Angeles home, his private jet, and full-time security at his own expense, an extraordinary gesture that went beyond professional courtesy into personal sacrifice. The couple stayed for weeks, later named Perry Godfather to their daughter, and publicly described him as their chosen family. Perry spoke warmly about them in interviews throughout 2022 and 2023, and Meghan appeared alongside him at public events as late as December 2024, signaling a bond that seemed immune to the cooling happening elsewhere in Hollywood. When Perry faced a $260 million sexual harassment lawsuit in June 2025, Harry and Meghan made no public statements and offered no visible support. By August 2025, media outlets reported that contact between them had ceased entirely. The pattern mirrored what was happening across the industry. High-profile relationships dissolved not through confrontation, but through gradual distancing, the kind that leaves no paper trail and requires no explanation. Perry had absorbed significant risk to protect them during their most vulnerable moment, yet when he needed public solidarity, the cost-benefit calculation had shifted. This was structural, the same math that governs every Hollywood relationship when reputational liability outweighs potential gain. Understanding how protection collapsed requires revisiting the Oprah interview itself. On March 7, 2021, the 2-hour CBS special drew 17.1 million American viewers and introduced allegations that dominated global coverage, including claims of racial concern within the royal family, lack of institutional support during pregnancy, and personal conflict with senior royals. In the United States, celebrities responded with public sympathy, while UK polling showed skepticism, and Buckingham Palace issued its carefully worded response 2 days later. Fact-checking followed within months, questioning timelines, protocol details, and inconsistencies between public records and interview claims. More damaging than any single correction was the way the interview locked Meghan into a grievance-based narrative that clashed with the aspirational lifestyle brand Archewell later tried to sell. By late 2022, her U.S. approval ratings had dropped from about 55% immediately after the interview to roughly 36%, driven not by scandal, but by overexposure and fatigue. Studios value predictability because partnerships depend on controlling risk. After Oprah, defending Meghan felt morally rewarding but professionally uncertain, and by 2024, silence became the safer option. No new high-profile advocates stepped forward. Previous supporters stopped amplifying their work, and the informal shield that once protected her reputation dissolved. Into that vacuum rushed something far more dangerous than criticism: fabricated events designed to explain what people sensed but couldn't articulate. The fake Mirren moment didn't create doubt about Meghan's standing. It gave existing doubt a face, a voice, and a timestamp that millions could point to as proof. When protection vanishes and lies fill the void, the consequences extend far beyond one person's career. What does that mean for everyone? The direct interpretation. The fake Helen Mirren confrontation shows how information systems in 2026 can turn fiction into something people experience as fact. The video did not spread because audiences were careless, but because it was designed to fit perfectly into how people consume content and how platforms reward engagement. Online creators who specialize in commentary and viral moments earn money from watch time, clicks, and emotional reaction rather than accuracy. Videos that feel dramatic, satisfying, or shocking hold attention longer, which signals value to recommendation systems that decide what millions of people see next. Calm explanations and factual corrections generate weaker signals, so they are pushed aside even when they are true. Social platforms reinforce this imbalance by favoring content that provokes strong reactions. Videos that trigger anger, relief, or a sense of moral confirmation perform better than neutral reporting because users stay longer, comment more, and share faster. Corrections rarely compete on those terms, which gives emotionally charged falsehoods a built-in advantage. Human behavior completes the loop. Accepting a correction often means admitting personal error, acknowledging that false information was shared, and accepting that judgment failed in public. Many people avoid that discomfort by rejecting corrections outright, or reframing the story as emotionally true even if specific details are wrong. Once someone invests in a story, contradictory evidence rarely ends belief. It gets reframed as proof of institutional protection, making debunkers feel like confirmation that the original claim threatened powerful interests. The Mirren fabrication worked because it matched what many viewers already sensed. Meghan's public standing had shifted, professional momentum had slowed, and visible industry support had faded. The video offered a clean, shareable moment that seemed to explain those changes in a single scene. That is how reputations are damaged now. Careers no longer end only through scandals, lawsuits, or public confrontations. They unravel when networks stop defending, editors stop assigning coverage, and partners stop renewing contracts without saying why. In earlier decades, reputational collapse followed visible steps. Accusations appeared in print. Responses followed. Evidence accumulated. Courts or public opinion delivered judgment. People could point to moments and documents that explained what happened. Today, damage often comes through silence. No accusation needs to stick, no scandal needs to break. Protection simply disappears, and the absence itself reshapes perception. For Meghan, this shift showed up in measurable ways. Platform deals produced limited follow-through. Renewals did not arrive. Media attention narrowed. Speaking fees declined. Public defenses from influential peers stopped appearing. No single decision caused it, and no coordinated effort drove it. The industry moved away through countless individual choices. The fake Mirren video succeeded because it gave shape to that slow process. People could not point to the moment Hollywood turned away because there was no moment. The fabrication was created after the fact. This is the power of manufactured events in a world of synthetic media. When reality feels scattered and unclear, a convincing fiction that offers clarity feels more believable than the truth. The video did not persuade audiences that Hollywood had abandoned Meghan. It persuaded them they had finally seen the moment when it happened. The barrier to creating moments like this is now low. A small group, or even a single person, can invent an event involving a public figure, distribute it across platforms, earn significant revenue from engagement, and face little risk of consequence. The system rewards speed and emotion, not verification. Belief then becomes reality in practice. Millions now think Helen Mirren publicly criticized Meghan at the Golden Globes. That belief shapes how they discuss her, how they judge future projects, and how they interpret new headlines. The fabrication settles into cultural memory, even after it is disproven. For public figures, this creates an impossible task. Defending against something that never happened requires repeating the lie to deny it. Correcting a fabricated event means chasing copies across platforms that have already moved on. Restoring trust demands resources that no individual controls. This problem extends beyond celebrities. Politicians face invented quotes. Executives face synthetic scandals. Ordinary people face manufactured controversies that spread faster than they can respond. Reputation has become fragile because belief spreads faster than proof. The shift can be seen clearly in how Hollywood handles risk. Tyler Perry offered Meghan and Harry protection in 2020 when few others did, providing his home, security, and personal support during a crisis. The relationship appeared unbreakable. When Perry faced serious allegations in 2025, public association suddenly carried cost, and silence replaced visible support. That silence did not signal hatred or betrayal. It signaled calculation. Hollywood protection lasts only as long as the association feels safe. The Mirren fabrication previews a system where invented events feel more real than authentic ones, where profitable falsehoods outpace inconvenient facts, and where reputations erode without accusations or evidence. In 2026, belief functions as reality, not because audiences are stupid or careless, but because the infrastructure rewards emotional resonance over factual accuracy. The hoax worked because the industry had already stepped back quietly, and the fabrication gave that withdrawal a face and a moment that people could point to as an explanation. Careers no longer end with scandals that generate headlines and trials that produce verdicts. They end with silence, interrupted by lies that feel true, manufactured events that explain shifts already underway, and fabricated confrontations that millions accept as memory even after they're proven false. Dame Helen Mirren never attacked Meghan Markle, yet millions believe she did, and that belief now shapes how Meghan is perceived, how her projects are evaluated, and how her future opportunities are calculated by an industry that operates on perception rather than proof. Will the fake Helen Mirren moment speed up Meghan's Hollywood decline? Or is her reputation already damaged? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.